Hi, welcome to the other 167. For a short meditation today, I've taken a topic: learn to face failure. Learn to face failure. We live in a very highly competitive world. We find when students are not able to cope up with their studies, or there is sudden loss in business, how people wreck their life. They sometimes end their life. Why so? We should have dreams, aspirations, we struggle, we work hard. Nevertheless, we should also be prepared to face failure. How do we respond to failure? So it's very important to know how we respond to failures that we encounter in our life. There are 3 points I wanted to bring out on this topic. 1. Know that our life and times are in God's hand. We are made in the image of God, imprint of God is on us, and God is concerned about us. When we know that He owns us, we will never wreck our life when we face failure. Psalmist says in Psalm 31:15, "My times are in your hand, O Lord." Jeremiah 29 verse 15, the prophet says, God is saying, "I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." So God has plans and purposes. So we should know that our life and our times are in God's hand. Point number 2, learn to be content. Learn to be content. It's good to have dreams. It's good to work hard. It's good to aspire to be excellent. But also, we should be content. What is contentment? In Ecclesiastes chapter 9, we see, "Eat your bread with gladness." Eat your bread with gladness. Whatever little we have, God is in it. It is sufficient. Paul was a great worker. He worked very hard. When we say learn to be content, it does not mean that we should not work hard, we should not aspire. But whatever God has given, find contentment. When Paul, in the epistle of Philippians, we read in chapter 4, he is happy with the gifts that church gave him. And he says, chapter 4, verse 11, "I am not saying this because I am in need, but I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances." Whatever the circumstances, he learned to be content. "I know what it is to be in need. I know that what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." That's what Paul says. So learn to be content. What are plans for us to prosper and a good future? And point number 3, know God's will. Know God's will. When we know God's will, we believe this is the will of God in my life. God has plans and purposes for different people, and He counts faithfulness more than success, fruitfulness more than success. In fact, God is looking at us. Are we available to Him? Are we faithful to Him? So know God's will. Wherever God has placed us, whatever resources God has given us, take it up and work hard, and never to wreck our life because we have not reached a particular target or a particular dream of becoming a particular position or in academics, whatever. Wherever God has placed, He has a purpose and fulfill God's dream for us. So we should know God's will. Wherever He leads, He will feed. Wherever He places, He will give us fruitfulness. So rely on God's will. So I close here. Even in the midst of a competitive world we live, children are studying in colleges and schools. There are businesses who are highly competitive. We want to be excellent. We want to be successful. It's all good. We have dreams, aspirations. In the midst of it, we should learn. We should learn to face failure also, because that's not the end of the road. God knows the end from the beginning. There are 3 points I wanted to bring out. 1, know that our life and our times are in God's hand. We belong to God. He will take care of us. When a setback or failure we face, that's not the end, but God will help us to go through and lead us into better opportunity and grander success. Failure is in fact a stepping stone to success. Point number 2, we learn to be content. We learn to be content. Whatever God has given us, find contentment in that. In spite of the aspiration, in spite of the high dreams we have, find contentment, whatever little God has given us. 3, know God's will. Means we need to know that this is God's will for me in my life. And whatever God has given us, the resources, the time, the treasure, everything, put it to best use so that we'll be fruitful. Because God looks at our faithfulness more than our success. In the Bible we see many success stories, but we also see failures before a success. May God help us that we go through life with high expectation, but be prepared to face setbacks or failures. May God help us with these words. Thank you.